Hello viewers, Super GT here. At long last, it's been a while. Have you missed me? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Maybe you're new to the channel, you don't even know what's going on. But this is my first video for over a week. It's been a while because of this absolute monster. Been building a new PC, doing my tax return as well, but that's not as exciting, is it? So yeah, built a brand new computer, upgraded into the 21st century, and hopefully it can give us some better streaming and video quality. Maybe you'll be able to let us know if this one is decent or not. Okay, so I return at long last. It's been a while, as we're saying. You know, doing tax returns and building PCs, quite time consuming. And we come back in time for the Nations Cup race at Laguna Seca. And despite what it might look like, this isn't actually a one car race. Although everyone is in the MX-5, but you can actually choose any N100 car you like. Now I bottled my first qualifying lap here, getting a penalty on the lap before, which I had to serve on the lap, and it only put us therefore in 8th place, more than a second off. A lap later, we improved slightly, but not by much, and it put us 9th on the grid. Now this is the first of 2 races. I'm going to show you 2, and it looks like the US Air Force budget has gone downhill, as they've had to ditch all of the jets and go for the propeller planes. Just shows you what this virus is doing to the economies of the world. Okay, so this is going to be the first race of 2. Now the second race was an absolute beautiful race, let me tell you. But it's always a good idea to kind of show you the process. How did I get to having a good race? Because this is my first race where things were a bit... Well, you see my qualifying was distinctly average. I qualified exactly halfway down the pack. This guy had an absolute mare on the exit of the final corner. Lap number 3, I skipped the first 2 laps because basically it's a slipstream train where nothing happened. So yeah, we whipped it around straight to lap 3. Now on lap 4, we've actually gained a position there. So it took us to the end of lap 3 to actually gain a position. Can we gain another one here up against Scorpion? It looks like we just about can slot in ahead. Yes, we've done it. So 2 positions there. London buses. And you have to wait for ages for one to turn up and then 2 turn up. So we've got 2 positions after waiting 3 laps. We have the guy in 5th place looking to serve a penalty as he comes up to the line here. 0.5 seconds. And actually, given the placement of the line here at this track, it actually wasn't. Actually, there might have been more than half a second, but you don't actually lose too much time because it's at the sort of end of the straight, and you're quite close to a breaking point, so you don't actually lose too much time at that penalty zone. But I hope we're all doing good, everyone. Obviously, a bit of a weird global situation we have at the moment, and I felt like that was a good time, therefore, to build this new PC, get out of the way, and of course, buy it all just before the end of the tax year. Here in the UK, tax year ended 5th of April. I don't know if it's the same worldwide. Probably isn't, is it? But there you go. Okay, Frenchman Lulu getting the penalty, 0.5. Okay, not much, but as long as I just stick on his tail, then I'll be able to get past him. Spaniard getting absolutely dispatched to the sand, losing a chunk of positions. I'm going to kind of position my car centrally here, going into the final corner, and preserve 7th place. Spaniard dropping down the order like a stone. Across the line to begin lap 5. And down the hill towards officially turn 2. The little kink to the left on the main straight is actually turn 1, even though it's easily flat out in this car. And side by side now with the Frenchman. It's not going to be good enough. Actually, I just had to back out there. He kind of swerved across a little bit last moment. Just wanted to back out just to make sure he didn't actually send me off into the sand. He gets a poor exit anyway. And that gives us the invitation to whip it up the inside and take 6th place. And now up behind Base Design, who has his indicators on. I'm going to go to the outside. He goes narrow. Can we get the cut back on him? Revving it out in 2nd gear. You might notice that. Absolutely murdering the engine, but that is the quickest way out of that corner. Just to absolutely blow it up out of 2nd gear. and we've moved up into 5th. 10th to 5th in the course of less than 2 laps, but the race isn't over. This really became quite difficult because once I'm at the front of this little group here, I didn't have a slipstream. If you look at the map, you can see actually as we have to go very defensive against base design just to keep them at bay. You can see that the field sort of got into groups, and it's almost a bit like the Tour de France here. Everyone in a nice little group of slipstream together. And it got very close here at the end of lap 10. Look how close he is. I forced him to the outside. I braked quite early. And all I'm trying to do here is just to make the guys behind start murdering each other. He actually gets himself a penalty, the Frenchman, as we cross the line at the end of lap 10. 2 to go. So even though he's got a penalty, I still don't want to let him past, because he could easily slow me down and I could lose another further position. So I'm still going to defend. It's still worth defending here. And again, looking at the radar, making him go to the outside, aka the wrong side. You're just not going to overtake around the outside of that corner. It's just pretty much impossible, except maybe on lap 1. And there's probably millions of examples of people going around the outside. Depends on the situation, doesn't it? Entirely. But anyway, at the end of the race, we managed to hold on and keep 5th place. So 10th to 5th. But the key thing there was I was alright on pace, but once I got through to the front of that pack, I lost the slipstream, and therefore I couldn't really make any further progress. This is how I tune this car. Normally it's an N200 car, so you want to put the weight reduction all the way up to the top. So level up to 3 and then put your weight reduction all the way up to make the car heavier, and then reduce your power, and it becomes an N100 car. And this is normally a very good handling car, which is why a lot of people went for it. Some people go in for the Lancia Stratos, but I decided to go for the regular car here that everyone's chosen. We go again then. Now, qualifying. Let's talk about qualifying, because you have this silly little mini game, and it seems to be becoming more and more apparent. You have this silly mini game where you have to slow down when no one wants to be the first car of the queue because of slipstream. This is what slipstream is causing. It has very, very many benefits in this game. It promotes racing in many ways. It helps you to overtake, helps you sometimes to keep up with people who are quicker than you. But it does cause crap like this. I was going to use a much worse word there, but I kind of held off. But anyway, we tried to go for our qualifying lap now then. See if we can do a better lap than last time. We did a 51.2, I think it was, on that first race. And I penciled in the fact that I got an awful qualifying as the main attributing factor to not getting a... Well, 5th wasn't a too bad result, but I could have got better, I think. I had the pace to go a bit better than that. So therefore, the qualifying has to be better. That's what I need to get right. I'm in a good position here. I'm in the slipstream, which I don't think I got properly on the previous qualifying. And if we can just get a good lap here, a low 50 at least, I would say. Pole time for the previous race was a 49, but if we can go and get a low 50, I think if I had a low 50 in the previous race, I would have been in the top 5, and that would have been a billion times better, approximately 1 billion times better. And we've got a couple of corners left here, see if we can actually make that 150 a reality through turn is that 11 into the final corner, braking on the 3 board down into 2nd gear, closing up to the car ahead, and the Brit in 10th place there, now 11th, slows down and across the line, and we go 2nd. Okay, that's good. 0.6 away from pole, but let's not worry about that. We've got a low 50, which is what we wanted. Now at the end of this next lap, this guy gets a half-second penalty. I have to go to the outside, just escape him as he rides the sausage hard. Peggy 18. Across the line, a 150 exactly. And we kind of improve. Well, we do improve a tiny amount. And eventually it's 3rd. Base design going up into 2nd there. Okay, so this is an awesome race. This was incredible, start to finish. And it was made possible by the fact that we qualified a lot better that time around. So let's see what we can do then. 12 laps. It's a fairly lengthy race actually, 20 minutes, and it feels like an eternity, I think, because these cars are so slow. And the way I was driving it was a little bit different, because you can get on the power so early in the corner in this car, because it's quite heavy. Well, it's not that heavy because of the what do you call it? Because of the weight. I was going to say weight reduction, but we didn't reduce the weight, we increased the weight. And then you have, of course, the reduced power, so it just takes forever to go up any straight. And it does actually handle quite well, given those things. So it takes an absolute age just to get around any lap. And for the corners, it's just really grippy. Like that corner there, flat out, easily. The Belgian in the lead, going quite wide on the exit of, I don't know, what turn number is that? 6? Oh god, I don't have a map in front of me here. We're going to go up the inside though. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautifully done. And actually it's going to turn into a double move here. So as they queued up next to each other, going into the corkscrew, that's definitely an opportunity to seize upon. If they go side by side, you can take advantage fully, and I've done that. Third to first. I didn't expect that because in the previous race it took how long? Nearly 3 laps for me to gain 1 position. This time around, half a lap I've gained 2. So a massive increase here in the rate of overtaking. Good news. Okay, I only have 11 more laps left to try and defend this lead then. Not bad, is it? Not long. 11 laps in which I could possibly bottle it. And we're going to be checking up on the radar quite a lot, I would imagine. As we go into turn 2, lap 2, definitely weren't close enough, so just taking the normal racing line. You see that gap opening up there? It's not like he's that close. He's certainly not within overtaking range, unless you pull off dive bomb of the century. You could, you never know. You might just pull off a mega dive bomb, and I might not be able to do anything about it. But probably not. That's probably not going to be the case. So again, he's just poking into the radar there, braking on the 2, down into gear 2, and then back on the power so early. And this is one of the things I was trying to think about as I was lapping. At what point can I get back on the power? And most of the time it's well before the apex. Well before you're at the apex, can you get back on the power? Look how close he is here. Through the dipping left-hander, I'm immediately going to go to the left-hand side here just to make sure I have the inside for the corkscrew. He does have a slight overlap here as we hit the brakes into the corkscrew, but I positioned my car well there. I'm going to keep the inside and keep first place, and that's pretty much a sign of things to come. That corner there is flat out as well, so a lot of these corners, let's say in a Group 3 car, nowhere near flat out, but given this car's relative power and handling, a lot of these corners are flat out. Into the final corner, quite close, but going to take the normal racing line, and we're going to end lap number 2 in position number 1. Look how close, again, he's getting. Very, very close now. I'm going to fully have to defend all the way to the left-hand side. It's like the Indy 500. You come out the corner, immediately to the left, cover your inside, make them go to the outside, and he is on the outside. Looking at the radar again. No way he's going around the outside. Pulling off dive bomb of the century maybe, but that would have to be move of the century, move of the millennium maybe, around the outside at turn 2 Laguna. It's just not happening. It just isn't happening. The only way it would happen is if I don't know, have some sort of seizure or something and I just fall out of my sim rig. But fortunately for me, that didn't happen. Okay, coming up towards this turn, and he was very close. I went slightly defensive, ride the sausage quite hard. You don't really want to ride the sausages here, and we escape to live another day, but riding the sausages is playing a dangerous game, so don't do it, guys. Now through this one again, quite wide, but then I just didn't defend early enough. He actually got underneath me quite quickly. He sees on my left hand side, and there's nothing I can do about it now. I'm going to try and fight it around the outside though, into the corkscrew, late on the brakes, give him the space on the left, and I just about have to try to really force my way to keep myself on the track. Unfortunately though, I couldn't. You see that 0.5 seconds penalty. If you keep 2 wheels on the red and white curb, then you're okay. But unfortunately, I think I was 1 pixel beyond that, and I'm going to have to serve this penalty. Into the final corner, take the normal racing line, and we're going to have to work this one out then. Coming out of the final corner, lap number 3, and again, I've just been undone. Coming out of these corners, they're getting me on the way out of the corner. Quite a weird way of overtaking, but they're getting it done that way. And I couldn't move over to the left-hand side early enough, because he's on my left, unless I sort of smash him through the wall. But then that's not really a possibility, is it? Coming down towards turn 2, look at that. 3 abreast. Very, very close racing here. And there's not much I can do. I'm going to go down into 3rd here. So first down to 3rd with a penalty to serve as well. Lap number 4 then, things have taken a bit of a downward turn, and you see the pack here, very, very close, close in attendance behind, and we're going to come up to the penalty zone here. I'm really close, look how close I am, right behind him, serve the penalty, and unfortunately I'm going to lose a position. That's kind of to be expected given how close it was, but we continue. We're still in 4th, we're going to skip it forward a lap here, lap number 5. So that lap there, pretty much just lapping nose to tail. We can fast forward it. So right up behind Boo Boo Racing, fighting for 3rd. As we come up the hill then, really revving out in 2nd gear. As the engine crying in pain, but I'm just letting it know that that's the best way to extract speed from it. Can we get to the left-hand side here? Yes, we can. And Cripso, oh man, or Kipso, said it wrong. Sends himself into the Shadow Realm, the self-send. And there was a bit of foreshadowing earlier in the race because he did that. He almost did it on lap 1. Almost did it. But then he did do it on lap 5. Okay, so we gain that position. We gain another one at the corkscrew. Up into 2nd. It really is a topsy-turvy race. Changing this way and that. We're up into 2nd. Can we go for the lead? A little bit wide there, car behind very wide as well, onto the grass, it's not even grass, is it? It's sand, or whatever you want to call it, sand. Through the final corner. Whoa, bloody hell, a bit close. Side by side with Boo Boo, down the main straight, crossing the line at the end of lap number 5. And again, I've been undone on the way out of the corner, had to give him space as he went for the move into the final turn. Look at that then, fighting for that slipstream. He's got the inside. There's no chance I can really get this move done. And we're going to have to concede the position down to 3rd again. Almost conceding 3rd and going down to 4th to the Spaniard behind. But we settle in now into 3rd place. And this is the good thing about these cars, the MX-5s. The fact that you can race them so close to each other. It's almost a bit like playing high racing for the first time. It had that kind of feel to me. Playing iRacing for the first time, a lot of the time I'm going to be using the MX-5s, and Laguna Seca is one of the tracks you can do. Now we're going to go for a move here, up the inside, boom, late on the brakes, and I mean, you tell me this one, right? I'm going to say this, it looked like a shocking move, but at the same time I would say that he basically did not cooperate at all and left zero space. So I kind of was forced over the sausage, and then it kind of turned into a bad move. If he had actually just given the space, he might have been able to keep the momentum around the outside and could have kept 2nd, but then he drops down to 6th place instead. So let me know your thoughts on that. And yes, I've watched it a million times in the replay, his perspective, my perspective. It's one of those hard ones. Sometimes it's really hard in racing to judge exactly who's at fault for an incident. Sometimes it is just a racing incident. But I think the front of my car was more than halfway alongside his car, and there wasn't really any space given. Didn't really want to cooperate at all. But there you go. He came out a bit worse than I did, so we continue. End of lap 6. Only half of the race done. It's gone on forever. It's already 11 minutes. We're going to skip it forward to the end of lap number 7, and we spent that lap catching up to the pack here, or just the front 2. So base design now under pressure. It's basically impossible to get away. If you're in the lead, it's almost impossible to get away. That's an aggressive move up the inside. Now check out the radar here. We're going to go 4 abreast temporarily. Yes, you see that right. 4 abreast. Beautiful for a thumbnail. Beautiful scenes for a thumbnail right there. As the Spaniard there going from 4th straight up into 1st. Absolutely fantastic stuff from him. Congratulations on your 3-in-1 move But I'm going to keep second, or go up into second. I was in third for a while there. Now, once again, the race just proving to be absolutely all over the place. And you wouldn't want to bet any money on who's going to win this one, because it really could go either way. Well, you probably wouldn't want to bet money, I don't know. Maybe you're a betting person. Maybe I'm talking a load of rubbish. Okay, and something's gone on there between the two guys behind, and I saw this as an opportunity. We could work together here with the Spaniards to try to pull away from the pack. You do need quite a big gap though for that to happen, like more than a second and a half. By lap 9, it didn't really transpire to be the case. We put in some good laps here, but I think the guys behind were still just in the tow. He's rode the sausage really hard, and he's going to pay the price. And we're going to move up into the lead of the race on lap number 9. So you can see here a strong theme of this video, which is why it's rated Peggy 18, is riding the sausages very hard. And for the most part, it's caused a lot of trouble. Riding sausages causes chaos, kids, so don't do it. Don't do it. It's just not worth it. It really isn't. Okay, so down the corkscrew, lap number 9. We've only got 3 laps to go after this, and I think this is it's short enough of a time for me to be able to defend from here to the end. Let's say you're in the lead at lap 1. It's very difficult to defend for an entire 12 laps. It's possible, maybe, if you're good, but I'm not good, and I might have to have a far shorter time at defending. So here we go then, 3 laps to go. A mini set piece. Can you defend your lead for 3 laps? It's like one of those scenarios back on F1 2002. Classic stuff. Okay, down to turn 1. Or turn 2, should I say. Been getting it right for most part of this video. Take the normal racing line, he wasn't close enough. So I'm going to be checking up on the radar quite a lot, pressing the backwards look button quite a lot as well. And again, he's quite close, not close enough to go for that move, I don't think. Rode the sausage, or semi-rode it. Not enough for me to get flipped over into the shadow realm. But we continue. Look at that again. He's going to get the move. We've learnt our lesson though from earlier in the race. Like Gipso managed to get on our left-hand side here. But I'm not going to let that happen again. We've learnt that lesson. Don't let anyone get on your left-hand side coming up to the corkscrew, because it's pretty much game over. Although on that occasion actually I did manage to keep the lead, but you don't want to let that happen here. Not this late in the race. Don't let anyone have half a chance at overtaking you. So we're going to go fully defensive from here to the end, and hopefully we can see off the pack and get a race victory. Very rare in these days for Super GT. Maybe the new PC has given me some luck, and 6th place is no longer a thing. Look at that elbow work. He's struggling on the wheel now. We are 10 laps in, and he's really having to yank that wheel with full force to get it to go into that final corner. We do have a bit of tyre wear. The tyre wear isn't too bad on the Comfort Softs, which we're using, but you can feel it a little bit. You feel it a little bit settling into that last corner. Okay, lap number 11 now. 2 to go. Can we keep the lead? Is it going to be possible? Or are we going to get sent to the realm by the Spaniard with not long left to go? About 3 minutes left of racing, maybe a bit more. And you can see just how close it is as we navigate the first sector of Laguna Seca. On the exit of this corner, a little bit too wide. You can see they're kicking up the dust. Look how close he is. I'm thinking about it. Going half defensive. Where's he going to go? He goes to the outside. Okay, he doesn't go for the move. Revving out in 2nd gear. Up the hill. Look how close it is. There's still 5-6 people within that shot there. So it could be anyone's game in the top 6. As we come out up the hill for the penultimate time. And again, moving over to the left-hand side, there's no way I am going to give you the inside line here, my friend, as we come into the corkscrew. And taking the line correctly, we've only got that 1/2 a second penalty in this race, which is a good, I suppose it's good enough. You don't want to be getting too many penalties. You're going to struggle to win races by getting too many penalties. Luckily around Laguna, as we've said, the 1/2 second penalty isn't too bad. Coming up towards the final corner, look at that. I'm going to go very defensive here, force him to the outside. And again, look at the radar. I've kind of forced him to start fighting. And base design comes out of nowhere and sends our Iberian friend to the edge of the circuit. Base design up into second as we cross the line to go onto lap 12 of 12, the final lap. Don't bottle it, Super GT, as we come into turn 2 for the final time, and they're not close enough. They're not close enough to go for the move, but there are still many opportunities for an overtake on the Laguna Seca lap. We're going to whip it forward here. This is a crucial corner here as you run out onto this corner, which is a good overtaking opportunity, in these cars at least. And again, base design not close enough. He's saving it, I think, for a mega lunge into the final corner. We've been talking about the lunge of the century. Maybe he's going to pull it off here. And again, I'm just going to go fully to the left-hand side, play it nice and safe. Base design very close though. He wants that inside. He's not going to have it. You can go to the outside. It's a method that's worked. He's gone very late on the brakes, and he actually backs out just in time. Really, really close. That was his move. He had one chance to go for it. He went for it at the corkscrew around the outside, and he did actually temporarily go up into first place. Very brave stuff. Very, very brave stuff. And we've got one corner to go, and look at that gap now. He's definitely gone for that move, and it's cost him a bit of time and another chance of going for the lead. We're going to come out of the final corner on the final lap, and thankfully we're going to win a race. There it is. Good stuff. So we've gone from qualifying in 10th to going to 5th, and we learnt a lot from that race, and we've improved it and we've turned it into a race victory. And there we go. A very good race actually, up and down, really up and down the order. So sometimes leading, then knocked back to 4th, back to 2nd, back to 3rd. But there you go, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thank you so much for sticking around for this 27-minute video. Very good stuff. But yeah, cheers guys. Hope you enjoyed it as always. If you're new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing. But in the meantime, stay safe, and I shall see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.